Tell you what I do need. Flipping haircut. State of it. Hi guys, it's me Garratt and welcome back to the kitchen where you can watch me make you some delicious food. Now before we get into this, I should probably say a Happy New Year. Yes, it's 2020. I hope you all had a good Christmas, ate lots of nice food, spent some time with the family, and also hope you had a good New Year as well. Now I've got lots of plans for this year because 2019 was pretty much a write-off. I didn't really upload much and that was down to my health. But I want to make 2020 the year for me. So I've got some plans for the channel, but I'm going to do a live stream at some point next week, this week, depends when I upload this video, and just have a catch up with you guys and talk more about my plans. So I won't go into that now. But yes, it's 2020, this is the first video I'm going to make of the year, and it's going to be a curry. Yes. You know, I'm spoiled for choice with takeaways and stuff where I live, but I'd really like to learn how to make them myself. So this is the first one of the year, and it's a beautiful chicken korma. Now not only is this curry delicious, it's also cheap as chips, because let's face it, it's January, everybody's skint, and it's also surprisingly healthy. Now some people have this misconception that curries are unhealthy. They think that it's going to be laden with cream and lots of ghee and all that kind of stuff. And yes, you can make them like that, but you can also make them slightly healthier, so you don't have to miss out. So that's what we're going to make. Let's crack on with the recipe, and this story starts with some onions. Right, okay, so onions then. So I'm just going to get what I need out of this bag. All roughly the same size. So I'm going to want about 3 onions. If you're getting larger ones, you probably want like 2 large onions, but I'm going to use 3 because they're quite small. And you might think that's quite a lot of onion, but remember, they're going to cut down, so the volume will shrink quite considerably. Get a knife. I'm having to use my filleting knife to cut everything today because the rest of my knives are blunt. They've got quite a lot of use over Christmas, and I haven't got around to sharpening them, so that's why I'm using that, like you care. So I'm just going to peel these, and all I'm going to do is just slice them in half, and just roughly slice them into, well, slices. Okay, nothing too fancy, just kind of like that. So I'm going to crack on with the rest of these, and then we'll get them cut. Right, so I've sliced up my onions and we're ready to cook. So what I'm going to do is add some oil to this pan. Now I'm using mustard oil. You know, this is used a lot in Indian cooking, but you don't have to use this. You can use rapeseed oil, vegetable oil. You can even use ghee. If you don't want it to be that healthy, use ghee because it's really nice. But I'm using mustard oil. Now you won't find this in the cooking oil section. The reason is because in the UK this isn't certified for human consumption. Don't let that worry you, it's perfectly fine and it's used all across India for cooking all the time. It's absolutely fine, but remember in the 70s when olive oil was only found in chemists and you know, you weren't supposed to cook with it? Same sort of thing, so it's absolutely fine to use, but if you don't want to use it, use rapeseed oil, vegetable, sunflower oil. And I'm going to go in with about, I would say 3 to 4 tablespoons. Okay, next I'm going to add the onions, and now we need to get those onto a heat. Right, so we've got the onions in there, and we're going to get that oil up to a sort of medium temperature. You don't want it too high, because what we want to do is to get these nice and golden brown. If you rush it, they're going to burn and taste acrid. We want a nice caramelised golden brown colour, so they're going to take a bit of time. You're looking at about sort of 15-20 minutes, something like that, but just tend to them and look after them. But whilst they're cooking, we can get on and prep the chicken. Right, so I've got my chicken here. Now I'm using chicken thigh. You can use chicken breast if you want it to be a bit leaner. When I developed this recipe and tested it out, I actually used both. And I actually found that thigh was much more tastier and it was a lot juicier. And the reason for that is because thighs have got a bit of fat in there, which means they're much more forgiving than breast. Breast can dry out quickly. But if you want to use breast, go ahead and do it. So I've got 6 thighs here. You're going to want about between 6 and 8, depending on the size of the thigh. So just bear that in mind. And all I'm going to do is just remove the skin, just pop your thumb under there. You can buy skinless as well, so you know you don't have to do this step. And the reason for that is because if you leave the skin on, firstly it's not going to go crispy, and also the flavours from the spices won't permeate through the chicken. Any excess fat you can just sort of trim off. And again, if you're buying boneless, you won't need to do this step, but I need to take out that middle bone there. So what I'm going to do is just take my knife, just turn around so you can see, and just gently nick both sides so you can expose the bone. I'm no butcher, so I'm probably doing this really badly, but as long as I get the bone out, it's fine. Just get your knife and then just sort of work underneath. It'll expose the bone and just sort of run your knife down each side of it, taking off as much flesh as you can. And just feel over it, just for any bits of cartilage that you might have missed. You don't want to crunch on that. And then all we're going to do is cut these into 3 large chunks. Okay? About that sort of size. So I'm going to carry on, do the rest of these, finish off the onions, and then we can move on to the next step. So I'm about 20 minutes in now, and you can see how lovely and golden brown those onions have gotten. That's the sort of colour you're looking for. They're not burnt, because you burn them, it's just not going to taste very nice at all. Next we're going to add our whole spices. So what I've got here are 6 green cardamom pods, and I've also got 3 cloves in there. And what you want to do with the cardamom is just taking a spoon, you just want to sort of crush them, just until you hear them pop, because inside are the little seeds, and that's what gives it the flavour. So we're going to add those in along with the cloves. Next we're going to add the ginger garlic paste. Now I made my own. All it is just minced garlic and ginger, just mixed up with a bit of water, but you can use the jarred stuff, it's absolutely fine. So that's all going in. And we just want to cook out that garlic and ginger and just sort of gently toast those spices. You don't want to burn them, so just make sure that doesn't happen. But just for, I'd say about 2 minutes, just gently. Actually, I'm going to turn the heat down a touch, it's a little bit too hot. You might think there's quite a lot that went in there, but guys, I love garlic and I love ginger, so if you don't like it so much, you can just tame it back a bit. And I used 6 cloves of garlic and an equal amount of ginger for this. So after about a minute or 2, we're going to go in with our powdered spice. Now, this korma has not got a lot of spices in it at all compared to a lot of curries, so it's really, really simple to make. So all I've got is some garam masala, some ground coriander, we've got some turmeric, and we've also got a small amount of chilli powder. Not too much, because this isn't a hot curry at all, but we just want a tiny bit of warmth. So we're going to add those in, and just mix that up with the onions and the oil. Again, just to kind of soak everything up and just sort of release those flavours of the spices. So just mix that around for 30 seconds to a minute. Okay, next we're going to add our chicken. Now I used a bit more chicken than what I showed you. I actually used another 2 small thighs, because the ones that I had, a couple of them were a bit small, so I added another couple. So in total there's 6 large thighs and 2 sort of smaller ones, so just use your eye. So we're going to add that to our mixture. And you want quite a lot of chicken in there, because remember, it's chicken korma, it's not a bit of chicken korma, so you know, be generous with it. Looks a bit of a mess now, but trust me, it'll come together. And don't worry about all the stuff that's stuck to the bottom of the pan. We're going to lift that off now with some water, okay? And what we want to do is pour that in. You don't want loads, it's just there to sort of help cook the chicken and obviously to help create the sauce. So just enough, you know, to sort of cover the chicken. And you can always add a bit more later if you want to loosen it up. Scraping the bottom of the pan as well to get off all those nice crusty bits that are stuck to the bottom. And I'm going to turn the heat down to sort of medium-low. Now you want to gently simmer that for about 20 minutes till that chicken is nice and cooked through. Now if you're using thighs, remember they're quite forgiving, so if you do leave it a little bit longer, it's not going to dry out as much as say if you use chicken breast. So I'm going to give that about 20 minutes and we can move on to the next step. Right, so it's been 20 minutes, that chicken is cooked through and you can see that that water has reduced down and sort of helped form a bit of a sauce. So now what we're going to do is take this to the next level. So I've got some Greek yoghurt here, you can use natural yoghurt, and the reason I didn't put it in at the beginning is because if it sort of cooks out for too long, it has a tendency to split. So I'm going to add it now. 5 heaped dessert spoons, and what I've got here is some ground up cashew nuts. Now all I did with these is put them in a pestle and mortar and just bash them up into a sort of powder. You can buy them already pre-done, or you can just stick them in a food processor and do it that way. So I'm going to add these now, just you want about 6 sort of teaspoons, and this just adds that richness, that nice sort of nutty, creamy sort of flavour. So 1, 2, let's put the whole lot in, why not? It's all good stuff. Now I'm going to mix that through and you'll see that the colour will change quite dramatically. I think what I'm also going to add is a pinch of salt. Okay, just a nice generous couple of pinches. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just let that cook some more for another say 5-10 minutes, just to reduce that sauce down a little bit, and then we can finish it off and flipping well eat it, because I am flipping hungry, guys. Hungry! Right, so that's thickened up quite nicely. If you want it a bit more runnier, then just add some more yoghurt or a bit more water. If you want it thicker, just reduce it down a bit more. Just leave it on the hob, just gently ticking over. You'll be fine. So we're just going to finish this off with a good pinch of fresh coriander and also another teaspoon of garam masala. Now the reason we're adding another teaspoon is because it just sort of wakes everything up. Garam masala is typically used at the end. I know we added some at the beginning, but just another teaspoon will just wake everything up. So I'm going to mix that through, give it another couple of minutes, and then we can tuck in. Guys, it's ready. Let's serve this up. You can serve this whatever you like, you know, rice, you can have naan bread with it. It's even nice with chips, alright? Don't tell anybody I told you that. Okay, and this will serve 4 people with rice, or 1 fat hungry Adam. Right, let's get this in my face because I'm starving. Cutlery, cutlery, spoon for me. Go on, have a look. Get your face in there. Go on, focus. Focus. Look at that. Doesn't it look good? Smells delicious. Like I said, you can have it with anything. You know, have it with rice, naan bread, or in this case, chapati, or chips. Again, don't tell anyone I told you that because some people get mad. Give me my chapatis. Bread. So let's give this a go. Just scoop it up with this bread. Try and get a bit of chicken, bit of sauce. Oh, that is so legit. It's really, really good. I should have warmed up the chapatis first, but I couldn't wait. I was so hungry. But that, guys, is legit. If that don't get you laid in 2020, nothing will. It's your problem. And it's healthy. There's no cream. There's no butter in there. We used a bit of yoghurt, and those ground up cashew nuts really sort of give it an edge. Really delicious, and it's simple to make. I mean, in half an hour, you've knocked up a curry. You're not going to wait for it to marinate overnight and everything like that. It's quick, it's simple, it's cheap, and it's delicious. But anyway, guys, that's the recipe. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to leave you to it now, so I'm going to go off and finish this. If you liked what you see, then please stick a like down below. Leave a comment as well. Share this video with your friends and family, and tell them to subscribe as well. Now, of course, as always, all the ingredients will be in the description below. Thanks again for watching, guys, and a happy new year to you and your family, and I'll see you on the next one.